and artists to the world. Welcome to Indigenous Superstars with your host, Rhonda Head.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Indigenous Superstars. I'm Rhonda Head, and I'm coming to you live from Bigetti, Manitoba, the heart of Opaskwayak Cree Nation. And we have I have two exciting guests for you this evening. And I just want to let you know that I got the podcast up for Indigenous Superstars again on iHeartRadio. So please check on my Facebook page for the link to listen to the podcast of all the past musicians and artists that I've interviewed so far. And tonight I'm on I believe my 54th guest tonight, which since I started interviewing guests in April when COVID started. So I'm really excited that I'm on my 54th guest, and I just want to say that I'm also starting to interview artists from the powwow circuit, and I'm interviewing my first Indigenous designer this week. Her line and company is called Red Berry Woman. She's from Newtown, North Dakota, so I'm really excited to be interviewing her this week. And tomorrow I'll be interviewing Marianne Patrick, and she's been on the powwow trail for a long time, and she was a champion fancy dancer and a champion traditional dancer, and she does some really amazing beadwork. So I'm really looking forward to expanding the show and to different mediums of art that with Indigenous people. So I have a really exciting guest tonight, like I always do every week. So I'm just going to read their bio, and then I'm going to bring them on. My 54th guest today is two members from the band from Eagle and Hawk. For more than 20 years, Canadian band Eagle and Hawk has brought roots, rock, and across North America and Europe with multi-award-winning tracks. The album's winning Winnipeg-based guitarist Vince Fontaine founded Eagle and Hawk with former CFL All-Star Troy Westwood in 1995. Within 2 years, the band began touring overseas in Europe. In 1998, Jay Bodner joined Eagle and Hawk as the lead singer, creating growing demand for their powerful live performance. They soon wrote and released their second album, Indian City, a continuation of their sound loved by fans, old and new. Adding Indigenous themes to their songwriting, their lyrics were filled with emotion and authenticity, connecting deeply with audiences worldwide. Blending inspired vision with musical talent, Eagle and Hawk furthered their progressive style of rock steeped in roots, fusion, and catchy songwriting, and continued to earn fans and loads of fanfare. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my awesome guests, Eagle and Hawk, Vince Fontaine and Spatch. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
I'm like, is the sound on?
We're just kidding. Yeah, we were.
I'm like, what's going on here? There's no sound.
Yeah,
I'm dazzled by the lights behind Vince there.
Yeah,
I know, they're mesmerizing.
there you go. Well, yeah. Well, Happy New Year, and Jamie Gwaits for having us, Spatch and I. It's a pleasure to be here. 2021, can you believe it? Wow.
I can't believe it. I can't believe 2020. Never mind 2021.
Holy smokes! Let's forget 2020 for good.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a crazy year, if I must say.
Yeah, exactly. Hope we never go there again. So, but that's congratulations on 54 guests and streams that you've had. That's really incredible, and I've watched some of them, and it's a testament. And Spatch will know this too, because actually Spatch was right there at the beginning when we did put the first ideas of Eagle and Hawk together. That how much the Indigenous music scene has grown with artists coming forward. There's almost a whole new other generation of artists since when we kind of started and did some of our first gigs way back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was. One of the questions I was going to ask you is how did you get into music and the formation of your band?
Well, I'll just give a little thing and little background on that, and Spatch can jump in. We come from a similar music background, which is basically just the Canadian music scene back in the 50s. No, just kidding. Not the 50s. See if anybody was listening. No, back.
I was in the 50s.
back in the 40s.
I wasn't born then. I wasn't born then.
Yeah, we were, but that's okay. We were. No, just kidding. Hey, nice. Hang on, I can't see you. No, but back. Hang on, just back in the late 80s, mid 80s, late 80s. I mean, Spatch and I. Spatch is from Toronto. I'll let him jump in right away. But I was just playing in the Winnipeg music scene, the club scene, and we were, doing our gigs in the clubs and doing some tours across Western Canada, and that's where you got your experience and learn how to kind of cut your teeth on the stage. And Spatch can give his background. But Spatch and I first met, though, and I'll say this, back in 1998. So our friendship and music professional association goes back over 30 years. So.
Yeah, that's right, Vince. And Rhonda, thank you for having us on the show. And I have seen many of your episodes, and they're a lot of fun and good variety of different musicians and musical styles. I came here from Toronto. I came out with to play with the Christopher Gaffney band, and then I played with Lanita Erickson. And I think I met you playing hockey, Vince, but I could have been in the bar. And I think at first I thought he was the Diamond Club, yeah. So then we ended up doing some stuff together. I was there at the beginning, but I didn't tour with them in the beginning until much later on, probably around the Mother Earth record, I guess, Vince, that came back in.
Well, I think you stepped in on a few gigs in the early 2000s, probably. The Mother Earth album came out in 2004. But you're right. We met our common friend at the time was Christopher Gaffney, who's actually, in a sense, one of the silent members of Eagle and Hawk, who's our producer and gets some of the co-writing credits on a lot of our tunes. But I think the first time I actually met you and shook your hand was, believe it or not, on a Sunday at a Jets game at the old arena, because a lot of us musicians were always working every night. And it was always great to go to the old arena on a Sunday in the afternoon for a matinee game. And you'd often run into musicians, they were probably just waking up for that 1 o'clock game or something. But I remember Spatch was there and Chris, and we did shoot the breeze a bit. So,
yeah, I wonder if it was a Toronto game, because being from Toronto and diehard Toronto Maple Leaf fan, I was probably lost if I was at the Winnipeg Arena.
Probably, yeah. It was like the old Maple Leaf Garden barn kind of.
I know. Yeah, so we ended up playing together and learning a lot about the culture and the community and different languages and ceremony, and just it was great traveling around to all the different communities and seeing how people were living and how they were receiving the band. But the one thing that I thought was common within all the communities was the laughter and sense of humor. There's a sense of humor that runs like a common denominator, a thread through the whole community, where they love to laugh. People love to laugh.
That's for sure.
They don't like to laugh when we're playing, of course.
But back in the day, Rhonda, there was an idea though that I had, jumping out of the music scene, like the kind of the top 40 club scene, was to create an original band that was creating original music. Back in the day, I think if you're a Canadian musician, you had a couple aspirations. You wanted to play in the clubs and the bars, or you wanted to get a record deal, as what they called it back then. That was kind of the epitome on the trajectory of your career. But jumping off and creating a new music entity was something that was kind of fresh for me. And well, Spatch had been, of course, in original projects already as well, but to create one that would have an idea to create a bit of a voice and a brand, which was going to be through the, well, at the time we used the word Aboriginal, right? So the Aboriginal lens, in a sense, right? And, you know, in those early days too, and Spatch remember this, besides Troy Westwood, there was, you know, some couple of fellows that people would know, like Mike Briere, Michelle Briere, and his brother Donovan Briere were kind of stepping in the first, some of the first ideas of Eagle and Hawk. And who else was there? Donnie Ducharme was on bass. And, you know, we did some gigs in Saugeen in the early and mid 90s. We just kind of wanted to have that brand. And even after Troy Westwood couldn't play anymore because he was playing football for the Blue Bombers, Jody Gaskin jumped in and sang for a year or two as well, right? So
That's awesome.
it was a lot of fun. Yeah,
I actually remember. I remember doing. I don't think it was a first show, but it was an early show because I played it in Saugeen with Eagle and Hawk. But we were sitting in sort of a circle. I think it was upstairs at the arena, maybe,
probably. Yeah.
or in the hallway or something. Do you remember that with Troy singing?
Yeah, actually, I do now. I do remember that. Yeah, I kind of remember. Yeah, and we. I do remember it, and that was it. He just was singing.
Oh.
No,
That's cool. So
You're cutting out, so I missed you.
So sorry, Rhonda, go ahead now.
So you recorded a new video, and I watched it about half an hour ago, and it brought tears to my eyes. And
Right.
it talks a lot, or there's a lot of imagery about women, and you're singing about women. Could you tell us a little bit about it before I play the video?
Oh, sure. You're talking about the latest Eagle and Hawk album, which was actually our first in how many years, Spatch? About 9-10 years. We released last year, just over a year ago. It was called Liberty, and the track you're referring to is called "She's Come of Age." And you know, sometimes in Eagle and Hawk, we try and highlight a few a few issues and items that are importance or relevance, we think, through the Indigenous lens. And this one in particular was about highlighting the achievements of women, and that, you know, they've, as the chorus says, the lyric says, she's come further than the northern lights and she's shining just as strong and bright. We put this video out just recently, and we wanted to highlight, and not that we were trying to make a political statement. We could have highlighted so many women. Actually, there is women in the video, other women that have achievement. But we highlighted Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, just because it was such an achievement for a woman of color to reach that office of the vice president. And but there are many women in there. Rosa Parks, who was a woman of color, who, if it wasn't for her protesting, sitting at the on the bus, moving up, you know, that was part of the whole civil rights movement. And Cindy Blackstone. There's so many Indigenous women who've also kind of made their mark. So yeah, this is called "She's Come of Age."
Okay, I'm gonna play it right away.
All right.
So that was a really empowering for women for sure. Thank you for honoring the women.
Yeah, absolutely. We could have did 10 different versions of that with all the women that have come of age, and but I'm happy with the song, the way it turned out.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So you recently did finish a documentary. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so CBC approached us maybe about 2 years ago, and a filmmaker approached me as well and said there's interest in doing a music documentary on Eagle and Hawk. So we looked into it, and CBC jumped on board and made a commitment to do a music documentary on Eagle and Hawk. And the music documentary was finished this past summer, and it debuted on CBC television on primetime, actually, on a Saturday night, October 31st. And it's called Eagle and Hawk Takes the Stage. Takes a look back at 20 plus years, and lots of footage from Europe, lots of footage with some of our, people that have come and gone with Eagle and Hawk, and some highlight stories. So very proud of that. But it does look back on what we started from at the beginning, and I always say that we weren't the first band to come across, and always acknowledging other groups like Seaweed or Shin Goose, Redbone, Cashton, Keith-Secola. So yeah, it was really exciting and proud to be having a documentary that's done on your behalf.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Oh, sorry, Spatch, go ahead.
No, it was a lot of fun, and it's really neat to see it on national TV across Canada. And sometimes you you forget about the places you've been or some of the accomplishments that have happened or some of the people that you may or may not have affected. So it was really, really cool to see. Great to be a part of.
That's so awesome. Congratulations. That's really fantastic. So I'm gonna play the trailer.
Yeah, sure. The trailer's pretty short, just a minute and 20 seconds or something. Yeah.
Okay, and I'll also post the
link to it. Sure. Yeah.
link to the there we go.
I was in a band and I didn't want to be in it anymore. And they said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to start an Aboriginal band." What's an Aboriginal band? No idea. Maybe not pioneering, but there were.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fun.
That's awesome. I gotta watch that now. I remember you were telling me about it. Now I want to watch it. That looks like so much, like a lot of history in that documentary, and I think that all of us musicians need to watch that.
Yeah, the documentary, the full documentary, you can post a link or and put it on your Facebook as well. It's
Okay.
was a lot of fun to do. And yeah, there's just a lot of history, and there was a bit of a plan. We wanted to want to be a voice in the Canadian landscape, and I think we did that at times. We had a lot of fun gigs over the years, Spatch? Really fun gigs.
Yeah, we got to play. Some of my favorites are, playing in Germany, going to Paris, the New Orleans Jazz Festival. Meeting people. Like I think the first concert that I went to when I was a kid was in Toronto was Redbone, and then getting to actually meet them and hang out with them was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure.
Well, we can't forget the 2010 Olympics. We played main stage there a few times, and
Yeah, that was a good one. Well, all of the APCMA shows, or actually one of our favorite all-time gigs, we used to say, was Indian Summer Fest in Milwaukee. Was always a lot of fun to go every year. So a lot of
Yeah,
fun for
that was
that.
a lot of fun. Didn't you win Legend of the Year or something?
Legend of the
Award?
Decade. No, I don't know.
Legend.
Legend from the 50s.
Or
Legend.
lifetime achievements.
Yeah, exactly. Legend from the 50s.
Yeah.
Yes.
There should be an award called Legend of the Decade.
Let's start that. Yeah, we'll start that. We'll get a hold of we'll get a hold of Jackie. We need to start Legend of the Decade. Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun and played a lot of communities. A lot of communities, Ontario, Saskatchewan. I mean, right across pretty much the country here. Very honored to be invited. At times to play some of the communities, and we just do our best. And one of the things that's really exciting is people know some of the Eagle and Hawk music. In particular, the one song that we're going to give a little bit of a push coming up in the next couple of weeks is a song that Spatch sings. And once you hit the first couple of chords, people know exactly what we're getting into, which is Sundancer. So.
Oh yeah, that's a great song. I love that song, and I know a lot of people really love that song too. That was a great lyrics in there, great melody, and yeah, and it's so much fun to sing. I know you asked me to come up on stage to sing with you at once or twice. That was a lot of fun.
We're going to release a video on Sundancer, the song, actually in the next week or so. I might as well let people know. And but Sundancer, the lyric is Sundancer, carry the weight on your shoulder. So that's really the premise behind the song anyways. But this time around, we're going to, in video, we're going to honor the essential and frontline workers that have been front and center for the last 10 months now, right? They kind of help us, make the world go around or through this COVID dark cloud. We've hopefully, I think, just getting a partial glimpse that we're going to get out of the next this year.
That would be so awesome, and they certainly need to be acknowledged for all the work that they've been doing, all the keeping us safe and keeping the sick people safe and pretty well keeping them company too, because we can't go visit them in the hospital. So
yeah,
it's really great that you're going to be acknowledging them and the truck drivers and
absolutely. There's truck drivers, there's field workers, all kinds of workers that are just out there putting the keeping the world going as best it can under the restrictions that we have going on, right? To keep safe and get through this time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
My sister Janet's watching the show, and she said, I love Sundancer. And she said, thank you. I love that. I am a frontline worker. So she's happy.
Well, then that's awesome. And we'll let you know when we're going to put it out, which will probably be in the next, either the end of the week or early next week. Like I said, it's always been on our mind. And I think Spatch had some ideas that, we got to acknowledge people more and more that are really carrying the weight on their shoulder all the time throughout the whole year, right?
That's right. Well, I'll post it on Indigenous Superstar Or
Yeah.
I can do it once the video comes out. I'll share it on
Sure. Yeah.
on our group page, and I'll also share it on Social Distance Powwow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
But
it's
I'll be
important that, like Vince was saying, is to acknowledge the people that are, keeping the stores open, or the lines of communication, uh, drivers, people delivering hampers, like Bear Clan, Mama Way. There's a lot of people that have been working, 10 months straight, redirecting and repurposing uh, their agencies and stuff so they can get food out to people that can't really get out or aren't working. So it's really made a big difference in the last 10 months. So it's important when you see them to say thank you.
That's
So
for
you're
sure.
welcome.
Yeah, that's right. Well, actually, yeah, Spatch and I are lucky. I'm not lucky, I should say, but we're part of the Bear Clan and Mama Way hampers that they deliver in the city here in Winnipeg.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. So you'll be singing that song for yourself too,
Yeah, that's right.
for
Yeah.
each band member.
Well, yeah, I think there's a picture of us with the hampers, a little
Oh,
cameo
that's cool.
appearance, and that we put in there with the Bear Clan. So yeah,
That's
The
so
new
cool.
version is it's sort of how, I mean, we've always wanted the song to sound uh, fuller, so
yeah,
I think it
that's right.
gives
It's a
it
new That's right. It's a new version of the song. Actually,
yeah,
Nice,
that's on
nice.
the album. So
That is
there's
cool.
a lot of
So
great harmonies. And
I forgot to add these comments on. I'm just gonna add them right away. Janet says, "I love Sundancer. Thank you. She's a frontline worker. She works for the MKO crisis team, so they have to
mm,
go to all the different communities in Manitoba when there's a crisis going on." She
right,
said she's gonna cry when you guys when the movie or when the video comes out,
yeah,
and she says, "Carry the weight on my shoulder says it all."
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Yes,
they
yeah,
sure
that's
did.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a really good work that you guys are doing, and I just want to mention to the people that are tuning in that you guys are a multi-award winning band, and that you also won a Juno Award. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
well, we were in the audience, and they went, and the winner is no,
And you
no,
jumped up before your name got called.
yeah, that's right. Oh no, the wrong band. No, uh, can you imagine? No, back in the day in the 50s, we were. No, just kidding. Um, I think it was our third album, I guess. The first one was with Troy, The Dream, and then we did that first one with Jay called Indian City, of all names, which of course became a band 20 years later. No, we had an album called On and On, and so the Junos were in St. John's that year, and we were so honored and humbled to win, and it was exciting. Um, but we've had some wonderful experiences over the years. We've been invited to the Junos as a nominee a few times since that. I think the Mother Earth album. We went to Edmonton for that, Spatch?
yeah, I've been to Edmonton,
Toronto?
Toronto.
Yeah.
Where else?
I think Halifax. I think the band's been nominated 4 times, and then the one Juno recipient. So
I still remember. I wasn't in Newfoundland, but I was in bed, and I remember you phoned me and woke me
yeah,
up and said, "Hey, guess what?"
yeah.
So yeah, that I still have that memory for sure. But it's been
That's
a
really
lot of
good.
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a lot of fun because we got to perform at the Junos and special events out there and meet other artists, and um, there's even artists. Although it never came to fruition, Cyndi Lauper was talking about wanting to do something, and I remember Nelly Furtado saying that she wanted to do something. She ended up not doing it with us, but remember she did that performance with um, what's the name of that singing group, the powwow group?
Was it Stony Park or Northern Cree?
Maybe
Northern Cree.
Northern Cree, that's right. Was that on the Grammys or the Native American Music Awards, I think, actually?
No, I think it was the Junos.
Oh, okay. It could have been the Junos, right? Yeah, because you're absolutely right. So
we met her at the Junos, and she was interested in doing something, and she ended up doing it with Northern Cree. They had them at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Nelly Furtado.
Oh, who did I say?
Northern Cree.
Did I say
I
Nelly
don't know.
Furtado though? Yeah.
Yeah, Nelly Furtado. Actually, the best. Well, actually, not the best. One of the coolest celebrities we met, and Spatch may agree to this too, was at one of the Junos we were at, and all of a sudden there's this guy. I was like, "Hey, that looks like the guy from Wayne's World. Looks like the guy from Wayne's World. Is that Alice Cooper?" It was Alice Cooper.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was Alice Cooper, and Spatch goes up and he had to make sure we were going to get a picture with him, with Alice
So
Cooper.
did you get your photo with him?
Oh yeah, we got a photo with him. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
that was a lot of fun. Alice Cooper.
They have at the Junos. They have there's two events actually. The better one, or most of the awards are given on the
Saturday,
on the day before.
day before
and
the
then they
televised
just-
show. Yeah,
The televised show is the next day, but a lot of the great performances. And our award was at our nomination was at the day before.
the Saturday
And I
show.
think-
Yeah,
Yeah, I think people like Sarah McLachlan performed. Like, remember, there's a lot of great performers. And
lot
we
of good
saw Alice
performers,
Cooper. Nelly Furtado was there too.
Yeah.
And I remember Alice Cooper was sitting eating dinner, and I said, "Hey man, how you doing?" And he took his napkin and wiped his mouth, stood right up, and started talking. He was just so gracious and so humble. Afterwards, I felt bad because I disturbed his dinner, but he stood up and took pictures with us, and
absolutely. You're right.
yeah, it was
Awesome.
pretty cool.
That is so cool. That's a cool story for sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
That was like what Spatch was saying. You know, because we're so fortunate to be at some events and you meet other musicians, and at the end of the day, people just want to share their music and their voice and message. And when we were playing the New Orleans Jazz Fest, as Spatch was saying, Cyndi Lauper was on the side of the stage kind of watching part of our set. It was like, are you kidding? That's Cyndi Lauper watching us. So you know,
Cool.
we went to chat with her. But the other artist of the day at that time, which we had met in Toronto at the Junos because they were at the table beside us, was Arcade Fire. And so, you know, I went up to Arcade Fire and I says, first of all, can we take your picture? And that was the coolest. And I says, hey, by the way, next month we're going to be at the New Orleans Jazz Fest. You guys are playing there as well. So I don't know if you believe me or not, but next thing you know, he was on the side of the stage, the Arcade Fire singer and his wife, with Cyndi Lauper watching the Eagle and Hawk performance, which is actually the coolest video. It's on YouTube, Eagle and Hawk New Orleans Jazz Fest 2011.
I'll have to check that out too. That's so awesome. And we're coming to a close. I know the time went by really fast. I just want to acknowledge you, Vince, for paving the way for a lot of us Indigenous musicians who are following the footsteps behind you, and for upcoming Indigenous emerging artists as well. So thank you for paving the way for us and teaching us that we have to work hard in order to get. I know you have to work really hard to get where you're at. There's a lot of hustling going on, a lot of self-promotion, and it's a job in itself, and it's so much work, and deserve all the awards that you've won, all the accolades that you've received. Thank you very much for paving the way for us, and I'm sure you'll continue to do that. And thank you for being my 54th guest, both you and Spat. And
Studio
being with-
54.
Rhonda, I just want to say one thing before I go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So they're joking earlier about Artist of the Decade award. You just hit on something there that I think is I wouldn't say overlooked, but I think that it needs to be brought to the sort of the top of the topic is Vince. You touched on it. Vince should get Pioneer of the Double Decade Award because there's a lot of artists that have come before, but Vince is one of the first ones, if not one of the only ones, that persevered and took the band back across the water to Europe. Took the band 11 times back across the water, and has continued to help promote and give opportunity and to a lot of young artists. As you see in Indian City, there's just so many young artists that have come up, and I think that. Sorry, Vince, but I think that you need
No,
to be.
thank you.
I think you need to be acknowledged and recognized in some sort of a some pioneer award if there's ever one. So hats off
Well,
to you,
thank
buddy.
you.
You've paved the way, or you've been the icebreaker for a lot of young acts and acts, giving them hope
Wow.
and for the future.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate that. And it's for the people, anyways. That's what it's all about. So that's you guys got me all emotional. Just kidding.
Well, it's true. I caught you unexpected, but I don't think I mean, you have your leaders like Lisa Meaches in the film and award industry, and Rhonda, you lead the way in opera. But Vince has been the guy that has brought Indigenous not just voices but culture too, with dancers, and there's always been dancers, and there's been a lot of sort of bands that have copied that, and that's good too. But he was him and the boys before my time were the first. Randy Booth, the rock star of hoop dancers, Bruce Fontaine.
Wow, absolutely, yeah.
He was so there's a lot of ones that have come before, so you deserve that credit.
True. So somebody online commented Whitefish Jr. So Ray was Whitefish Jr. is the ones that were singing with Nelly Furtado.
Okay.
So just make a comment on the screen, and we'll correct that if that was the
sure. Okay, yeah. So the Whitefish Juniors, did you say? Whitefish Bay? Yeah.
Whitefish Juniors.
Whitefish Juniors. Okay.
Yeah. They were epic. It was really good.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then Janet also said Vince is the only one that shared his knowledge to upcoming artists. Thank you for mentoring my sister. Yeah, and I wonder if you did mentor me a lot, and you helped me out a lot in my career as well, and introduced me to Charles Cousins. And I just released one of my latest pieces. I re-recorded Kasagitin, I Love You, with the orchestra that Charles Cousins arranged, and it's so beautiful. It's just incredible.
Awesome. That's incredible. Well, let's hope that we get to do some performances this year and beyond, again, with things like the symphony orchestra and that. So
for sure. For sure. And while we're in the topic of music award shows, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag now that I'm planning an award show for Indigenous Superstar Award Show. So
beautiful. Yeah.
Keep stay tuned for that. I'm getting the website ready and probably going to be launched within a month or so. But it's in the works, and who knows, maybe that 10-decade maybe that 10-decade award or 2-decade award will be on there.
Person of the decade. Yeah, from the 50s.
So I'm excited to announce that.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being part of this great conversation that I have every week with amazing Indigenous superstars. So where can we find your music?
Well, you can find it on I guess it's the usual Apple Music. You can find it Apple Music. I guess you just Google Music, and people can listen to it. Spotify, Bandcamp, and the latest album is called Liberty, and we've got a couple of tracks we think are really, really epic. But we're excited. We're going to give a push to Sundancer coming up in another week or two with a video, and hope to get the new version of the track on the Indigenous Music Countdown, and I think people really like it. It's just polished up a bit and a little more powerful than the earlier versions, and got some great female singers on the track.
Awesome. So Ray commented. He said yes, it was Whitefish Juniors, not Northern Cree that at the Junos that
Okay.
performed. Okay, there we got that straight. Thank you for commenting and letting us know who the singers were with that performed with Nelly Furtado. It was Whitefish Juniors.
Perfect.
So yeah, I think. And do you have any parting words that you'd both like to say?
Go ahead, Spatch, if you want anything.
No, I said it all. Thank you for having us on, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. I still think it's 2020.1. I don't think it's 2021 yet. So hopefully we get all this stuff straightened out soon, and we get to see each other sooner than later.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, and really look forward to seeing people's smiling faces in person somewhere sooner than later. Hey,
Me
Coco.
too.
Hi, Coco.
Is
Coco.
Coco
Is
on
that
there?
Ray? Is
Coco.
that Ray?
I have to tell one story about Ray Coco Stevenson.
Okay.
We were coming back from Europe, I think, and we were, just off of like a 9-10 hour trip. and Coco, he likes his coffee in the morning, but he also likes his cigarette. So we got off the tarmac in Chicago O'Hare Airport, and Coco wanted to have a cigarette right away. I think the story goes, maybe Jay would know it better, but I think Coco wanted to light up a cigarette just coming right off the plane on the tarmac. No, you can't smoke on the tarmac. So, anyways.
I was there. I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. I think, but Coco went and he had some euros, money. He had some European currency. He went to the kiosk. I think he was standing with Spatch, and he said, "Hey, how much is this worth?" So the guy in the kiosk goes, "I don't know, senor." That's a true story.
So Aaron said, "Your music is amazing, guys. So blessed to first see you in Milwaukee at Indian summer shows."
Ah, Milwaukee, like an old friend. Yes, indeed.
Yep. Ray is just laughing.
Ray's laughing.
Yeah.
That's a true story.
So my next guest is Marianne Patrick from Rosso River. She's been on the Powwow Trail for many, many years, and I'm excited to have her on the show tomorrow. And then we got an Indigenous designer from Newtown, North Dakota. Her company's called Red Berry Woman, and she has really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful garments that she makes. So I'm pretty excited to be expanding into different areas and with Indigenous artists. So I just want to say to everyone, be safe, be healthy. Eguse.
Jimmy Glitch.
Tune in again next time. Rhonda interviews another up-and-coming Indigenous superstar. Only on Indigenous Superstars.